won't none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ, the Tar Heel. And in this huddle, unfortunately, we got to talk about the 80-76 loss that the number 3 North Carolina Tar Heels took to the Clemson Tigers, man. And first and foremost, this is the second time since 2020 that Clemson has won in Chapel Hill. And before I go into what I thought happened with this game, I do have to tip my cap to Clemson. Okay? Clemson played a very good basketball game. They made a ton of stinking shots. They jumped out to a 15-2, 17-4 lead, and it was pretty apparent early in that basketball game that Clemson had come to play. And PJ Hall had a much better game. He had 10 and 5 down in Clemson. I think he had a double-double, right? Him and Armando both went back and forth. So that was a great competition to see. But despite Clemson coming to play, I think that you also saw Carolina have a little bit of a stinking hangover, man. When is the last time that you saw them get down 15-2, 17-4 to start a game? You haven't seen that all stinking year. And for that to happen immediately following that Duke Carolina game where everybody's on Franklin Street and you see all the players out there and they're excited, and I just don't think that the focus was there. Now, make no mistake, I think Armando Bacot was focused. I think he picked up right where he left off from the Duke game. Did he miss like one or two bunnies? Yeah, he did. But, Armando had a great stinking game, man, for all intents and purposes. He had a double-double himself. So Armando came to play, and he really did attack the basket early. They made a concerted effort to get him the ball down low on the block, and he did a great job of keeping Carolina within striking distance. He had like back-to-back to backhand ones, it seemed like. So he stayed at the free throw line early. But I just felt like there was a little bit of lack of focus, man. There was maybe a little lack of energy. I didn't see as many Tar Heels on the floor diving for loose balls. I saw a lot of people like bending over trying to pick it up because there were a ton of loose balls in this game. And then it just seemed like maybe a little bit more often than not, Clemson was coming up with those loose balls. And yeah, that happens, but it can also be a direct reflection of the effort that you're putting out. And I think there was a little bit of lack of energy in this one. And I'm not going to lie, man. The Georgia Tech game was something that I felt like I could say, it's down in Atlanta, man. They kind of got our number. It's a tough game to get excited about. I get it. Maybe a little bit. Then you come back and you beat Duke, and I'm like, all right, bro, we've righted the ship, right? We've shown that game was a fluke. But then you follow it up with an early lackluster performance against Clemson. And yes, Clemson is a decent basketball team. But Carolina, as the number 3 team in the country, playing the way that they've been playing, should not lose that game at home. And let's go ahead and get into the box score before we talk about some things that I necessarily observed, right? So Shefflin had another stinking game, dude. 14 and 11. One of the keys was keeping that guy off the stinking glass. Did that happen? No. One of the reasons that I think that happened is because earlier in the basketball game, for whatever reason, we're switching again, right? And so now you got Armando guarding Gerard up top or Chase Hunter, and you got R.J. Davis or Elliot Cadeau down low on the block with Shefflin and stinking P.J. Hall. That's a mismatch all day. One of them, P.J. had a drop step and just completely jammed it like right in front of R.J. Davis, man. Like, I don't know Because when we were playing really good defense, we weren't doing a lot of switching. Everybody was just staying with their man. We're letting them fight through the screens. And now all of a sudden we're switching again. And it's leading to bad matchups. And we're doing that possession after possession after possession. And I don't like it, man. I can't stand it. There was a reason why we were playing really good defense. And it's because we were playing really good defense man to man. So that's one of the things that I observed in this basketball game was, once again, switching on screens. Switching, on the two-man. Got a high screen out top. You guys get mixed up. Now you got a big man posting up a stinking small guy, down low on the block. That's a recipe for disaster all stinking game. RJ didn't have his best game in the first half. Looked like he was just a little bit off, right? Was throwing up a lot of floaters. Getting into the lane, he's attacking, being aggressive, but those floaters just weren't falling. And it hurt us because we need RJ to score. We obviously need RJ to score. I mean, the fact that we scored 76 against Clemson at home is a little surprising to me. I definitely thought that we'd be in the 80s, and 3 of those were, a gimme 3 that RJ hit at the end of regulation to even make it look that close. Even though it did get closer a little bit later in the basketball game. Carolina tied it up at 70, man. And I really did. I thought if we could just think and take the lead. And Clemson gave us opportunity after opportunity. I think Shefflin went down there, got an and one, missed the free. It was either Shefflin or Hall. Got an and one, missed the free throw. Carolina comes down the floor. Empty possession. Clemson comes back down. They have an empty possession. Carolina gets the ball. They have another empty possession. Clemson goes back down. I think they had another empty possession. Carolina comes back down. Empty possession. We had plenty of opportunities, as bad as we played, to win this basketball game. But once you come out, bro, kind of like dragging your feet, maybe not with that pep in your step, it's really hard to stink and pick it back up, especially when now you've allowed that team to believe that they actually belong. And that's not to take anything away from Clemson. It's a good basketball team. But they're not North Carolina. They're not, right? We beat them 8 times out of 10. 8 times out of 10. And we should have beat them tonight at home. So those were just some things that I saw. Another thing, and, I'm just going to say this. This may be unpopular with some people. I've seen mixed emotions about it throughout Tar Heel Nation. Cormac went 1 for 10 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3. And this is the game after he went 2 for 5 against Duke. And I know that we didn't have Seth Trimble. Seth, unfortunately, was not able to play tonight. But we cannot continue to have these type of shooting nights from Cormac Ryan. And it's to the point where, yes, he's a good defensive player. But when your starting small forward is giving you 2 points on 1 for 10 shooting and 0 for 6 from 3, and that's like maybe every 3 games, every other game almost, it seems like we're getting these kind of games. At least just maybe I'm overreacting. But it just seems like maybe something needs to change, man. Maybe something needs to change because I understand he's a really good defender. But, it's not working. It's not working. I'm kind of at a loss for words, man. It's just not working. And we keep waiting for him to have like these decent, string together a couple of decent games. And God knows I hope that he does. But it's just not working right now, man. And he missed, out of those 6, 4 or 5 of them where he was open. He's just not knocking them down. And so that hurt us. Plain and simple, man, it hurt us, dude. It stinking hurt us. But without further ado, man, let's get into the stinking box score, man. Carolina loses 80-76. P.J. Hall had himself a stinking ball game. 25-9. Shefflin had 14 and 11, and then they also got 21 points from Gerard. That's one of the guys that I forgot to talk about. This dude came out and just started lighting it up. 5 for 10 from 3. Didn't do anything against us at Clemson. Came into Chapel Hill and was just on stinking fire. And I really didn't like his matchup because I thought that maybe he needed somebody a little bit bigger, guarding him. Maybe kind of like Seth was locking him down last time. Obviously, he couldn't play, but maybe a more athletic person, a taller person that could really stink and guard him, because Gerard was having his way. He really was having his way, man. And those 21 points that he had were stinking huge. Absolutely stinking huge, man, between him and PJ Hall. They killed us. They absolutely stinking killed us, man. Harrison had 11 and 6. Armando kept us in the stinking game, bro. Had 24 and 13. 24 and 13 points for Armando Baycott. He went 7 for 13 from the field and 10 for 11 from the free throw line, and even picked up 4 offensive rebounds. Great game from Armando. Never at one time did that guy look like he wasn't out there stinking, trying to make it happen. Elliott had 5 points and 1 assist. RJ Davis had 22 points and 5 assists. So RJ ended up having a decent game, but he shot 7 for 22 from the field, man. 7 for 22. If I'm not mistaken, that's like 30%. 30%. It's not going to cut it, man. Not going to stick and cut it. Just was not RJ's best night, you know. Just a tough game, man. It's a tough loss, because I just don't know if there's any legitimate way that you can look at this game and say, I understand. It's okay. Like, it's a concerning loss. That's the best way that I can put it. It's concerning. Because you got the Georgia Tech game, you got the Duke game, and then you come back and you lose at home to Clemson. And the schedule doesn't get any easier. Schedule doesn't get any easier. We're about to go on a 2-game road trip where we go down to Miami, and then we have to go up to Syracuse, right? That's a lot of travel time, 2 completely different climates. You know, they're going to have to stink and pick some things up immediately. So hopefully RJ gets healthy with the eye. Hopefully Armando is thinking still good. Hopefully Harrison's knee is okay, or whatever he was dealing with, a cramp, I don't know. Came back out and banged a 3. So he seems to be okay. And then hopefully Seth Trimble can get healthy, man, because we really missed his defense, man. That was a huge part of this game. It's just the inability to defend their guards. They're kind of getting into the paint, man. And then there was just kick out after kick out after kick out. And it hurt us. Hurt us bad in this one, boys. It hurt us stinking bad in this one, man. Team stats. Clemson ended up shooting 39.7% from the field, 35.5% from 3. The North Carolina Tar Heels shot 36.9% from the field, 33.3% from 3. And Carolina ended up out-rebounding them by 1. And we talked about the rebounding once again. Had to keep Shefflin off the stinking glass. And, you know, they had second chance opportunities after second chance opportunities because we just didn't do a good job of boxing out in this basketball game. So tough loss, man. Tough loss. I mean, that's really what it stinking boils down to. So let me know what you think about this game down in the comments section, Tar Heel Nation. Like I said, man, you got to tip your cap to Clemson. But then you also got to think and look at the Heels. And I understand that they're kids. But, bro, kind of came out a little flat, man, it seems like. So let me know what you think down in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. And I love you, Tar Heel Nation. Tough L, baby. We'll catch you on the next one, bro.